everyone, welcome back. Chris McCormick joined by Carmen Corvino, and today we are in our Scottsdale studio testing new TaylorMade Qi35 drivers. So we've got a lot of fun to look forward to in this driver family. An initial buzz online has been really positive, and I'm excited to hit these.
I am too.
Looks fantastic, and if they live up to the hype, this is going to be a great year for TaylorMade. But before we jump into the bay to hit some shots, make sure to give us a like, subscribe to the channel. With that, ready to get after it?
Let's go ahead.
Let's go. All right, Carmen, so we already have our data preloaded for Qi10 that we tested earlier. Now we're gonna jump in and test Qi35. So first head that we're gonna test is Qi35 Core, which is gonna be basically the kind of everyman's driver. So really interesting point about new Qi35 Core head is they've actually raised the moment of inertia up over 9,000. So really interesting story compared to where everybody was racing for that 10,000 last year in the Max models. This guy, getting close in the Core head. First impressions on shape, what do you think?
Looking down at it, it looks larger. It looks almost like the Qi10 Max did with regard to shape. Not saying that's as a negative. It is a beautiful shape, especially when you're putting this carbon crown on there. It really does kind of almost mask how large the head actually appears to be. It's a beautiful finish on it as well, and I like how they continue to use the TaylorMade logo as their alignment. That
T-bug is iconic at this point.
It is indeed.
So take a couple swings, let's see what this does for us. Not bad there. So we have 4th generation carbon twist face. So first impressions off the face, how'd that feel for you?
It felt very solid. So with regard to strike location, I don't think I missed it too badly. It was just a little bit off of the toe. And you could see that spin rate didn't climb over the top of 3,000, which I still hit that 265 yards. And for having as much of an open face I did right there, I'm happy to see the spin where it's at.
So you're talking about open face. There was a lot of feedback from Tour. Twist face historically had been a little bit more of a fade bias technology. So specifically going into Qi35, they wanted more neutral kind of start lines and really focused on where they put a lot of that internal weighting, how they position the face, the shape, the optics, the contrast with that infinity crown. And there's a lot of work put into not only the optics, but also neutralizing that start line a little bit more.
I mean, speaking on optics again, I have to just comment on the black. In the black face, it's just a very clean look.
That's a good ball there. Nice.
That was struck very well.
No, absolutely. And this year, we're gonna notice a push from TaylorMade. I mean, people have already started to ask, why 35? So, I mean, essentially Qi35 comes from their new approach to fit, form, and function. So that's where the 3 comes from. And then the 5 is a representation of the 5 models that they're gonna be offering. So we're testing 3 of the models today just simply because the lighter weight product and obviously the more women's driver isn't gonna work for you. So we'll test these 3 models, get a really good idea on what this product is gonna do, knowing that Max Fast and that Max Light is going to be more for that player that might need some help with launch and spin, which at your speeds, you definitely don't.
No, I don't. And just to comment on that ball right there, ball did curve a little bit more to the left. Typically, you know, we don't want to see that drop below 2,000 in spin rate on that miss to the left. So seeing that kind of maintain its shape with regard to the shot, and then again, 278 yard carry, I'm not upset about that.
So, and that's another, we were talking about fit, right? And CG projection is going to be a hot button topic for TaylorMade this year. Now, we did have an opportunity to go to Carlsbad where they gave us a little bit more of an in-depth explanation of what that is, but just for a brief explanation, it's taking that movable weight that TaylorMade has become known and recognized for and shifting the CG location to optimize launch and spin across a larger variable, strike location in the face. So when we're shifting weight back and front and moving CG, you can really start to fine tune and optimize those launch and spin characteristics. Really good ball there. Nice.
That was struck really well.
Absolutely. Great carry number.
You know, the strike on that feels very solid.
Really solid. Efficiency's great. spin right where we want to see it, apex height, landing angle. I mean, really checking the boxes on good, stable ball flight. And with the MOI as high as it is, and taking that movable weight and pulling it into that back position, really stabilizes that club head, even on those strike locations that might be a little outside of center.
Yeah, I hit that one a little off of the tone. Again, for where I struck that on the face, my biggest fear on those shots is person who swings a little out to in with the driver is that I'm gonna see that just shoot way left, and I'm very pleased with how that turned out.
Now, same. Let's take a look at the data and see how it stacks up to Qi10 core head. So I was telling people when Qi10 came onto the marketplace, I gave TaylorMade most improved over the Stealth product. And now looking at Qi35, first impressions here, I'm seeing another bump in performance. So from a fitter's perspective, what are you taking a look at here?
Again, you're looking at the ball speed. You know, the increase there is something that we like to see, especially when it comes to the new product. When it comes to launch and spin parameters, looking at the launch come down a touch and the spin come down a touch kind of may attribute to some of where that ball speed's coming from. And looking at the carry distance, obviously that one's carrying a little bit further, and another thing that I like to see as far as a fitter comes from.
Oh, absolutely. It's faster, better launch window, a little bit lower spin, nice little bump and carry there. Dispersion tightened up even more than what we saw in Qi10, and that core head for Qi10 was a monster. So if we see more stability, and like we were talking about, inertia gets pushed up over 9,000, super stable head, and now we've got stability with and bump and speed, that's something to definitely pay attention to.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that one. That felt very stable across the face. Big fan.
So next head I want to test, we're going to get into Qi35 Max.
Let's do it.
So this is going to be that 10,000 inertia product that we talked about, and really interesting, just little nugget that we picked up about new Max head is, again, talking about that CG projection and where they were able to reposition some discretionary weight internally and also create a more efficient fixed inertia generator in the rear of the driver. So dropping that CG almost 2.9 millimeters, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when it comes to overall performance, huge. So first impressions compared to what you tested in core head, how does that look size, shape-wise?
I'll be honest, it's hard to tell the difference between the two. This looks almost identical, in my opinion, to the core model.
Great sound.
Great sound.
So right out of the gate, first ball, great ball speed, good launch, and spin for a Max product. That was right in the wheelhouse of what we like to see.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. That was for how I struck it and where the ball was going. Again, to see the spin at 2350, I'm really happy with that.
And high toe, didn't gear. I mean, that's a ball that when I look downrange, I expect to see that thing peeling left.
Yeah, and snapping hard and coming down very fast. To see that spin kind of just stay where it's at on a miss hit, it's very, very, very good.
Now, first impressions, solid.
Very solid. And that sound again is very appealing. It's definitely easier to hit it to the left, as you would expect.
Yeah, that was a characteristic in the Qi10 Max that players really appreciated. I mean, if you think about that higher handicap player, somebody that needs a little bit of help from that bump in inertia and stability, they're usually also going to be that same player that may struggle with the right miss a little bit and also may have an issue with launch. So this guy, launch, great spot. Start direction, little left of the initial target line, but I mean, this is just nice, tight little draws. I held the face off a little bit there.
Tell you what though, for where that ball was going and how high that spin should have been, to still see that carry distance kind of come out to where it was there.
Launch didn't get away from us.
No.
Held the face open. It was kind of a little bit of an anti-left swing. A very playable miss. And not a lot of curvature downrange too, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it stayed very straight. And again, the spin didn't go off the planet. And taking a look at the ball speed again, just on a miss hit.
Let's get one more good one, just to round out the sample. There he is. Nice, high, tight little draw. In play, good carry number. Nice, that's a good one to end on.
Very impressed with this.
Let's take a look at data, see how it stacks up against Qi10 Max. All right, so pulling up our comparison screen here, and very comparable to kind of the comparison we saw core head to core head. So looking at these Max products side by side, and we actually saw a little bump in spin compared to what we saw in Qi10, but a lot easier to turn over. So walk us through kind of what you're looking at here.
It definitely was easier to turn over. Looking at the ball speed increase, that obviously makes us happy with new product. But again, seeing that spin rate maybe climb a little bit on some of those balls that were turned over, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because if the spin goes up a little bit, it will help reduce the curve out to the left on those misses.
No, absolutely. And I mean, to see a nice little bump in ball speed, again, I'm just going to chalk that up to a more efficient design and the mass properties being distributed in a little bit more efficient position inside the head. That's a little bump in carry, easier to turn over, really tight again on spin. And all in all, I would say very, very stable and just a little faster.
A little faster.
Nothing wrong with that. So last head we're going to test Qi35 LS. So we've been talking about that story of CG progression. This is going to have the lowest CG progression out of any of the heads in the new Qi35 family. So I would expect to see slightly lower launch, lower spin, compared to some of the other models that we've tested in the new family.
Copy that.
So how's that shape look to you?
The shape is of a much more traditional shape. It doesn't have as much of a drawn out shape as what the other two models did. It resembles maybe a little bit more of what I want to say Sim 2 looked like with regard to the shape. I also like the carbon crown as well. And I also like that we're not going back to those two pieces.
Sure.
I like just the one piece carbon crown.
That infinity crown is a fantastic looking design at a dress. Not bad there.
We'll take that one.
Absolutely.
For where I hit that one on the face, again, very pleased. Pretty heavily off of the toe.
Yeah,
see
high
that?
toe, and didn't really move from where you started it.
No, I was very, very straight.
And in LS, you have 3 of the TAS weights, and so it gives you the most adjustability and really have an opportunity to move CG around and put mass right behind where the player needs it. If you need something that releases a little bit faster, you can move that heavy weight down towards the heel, or if you're somebody that happens to be a little bit of a toe striker, we can take that 13-gram weight and put it out on the toe and put that mass right where you need it. Great ball.
For a little low on the face, I'm very happy with that.
Absolutely. That's good carry number and accuracy spot on.
Look at how fast it was too for where I struck that on the face.
A low toe and to have that kind of ball speed, really good. Really, really good. That's a good one to end on. Nice tight little cut. That'll work. Again,
A little low on the face, but not a bad miss.
no, not at all. Come on back, let's take a look and see how it stacks up next to Qi10 LS. So taking a look at this comparison screen, anything jump out to you specifically?
The difference between the launch and spin parameters between the two heads, we see a little bit more launch and the spin actually went down, resulting in a little bit more carry distance while maintaining very similar ball speeds to last year's head.
Yeah, absolutely. I like everything I'm looking at here. I think between what we saw in Qi10 and how much of an improvement that was over the Stealth family, we're also seeing another nice bump in Qi35 over Qi10. The core head last year, like I said, awesome. And this one is just a little faster and a little tighter. And I mean, very similar to what we saw in Qi10. There's a really good separation in the heads, which for us in the fitting world is fantastic. Just gives us more tools to work with.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to seeing players test these and what we see in the fitting bay for sure. So Carmen, really good sample there. Really good test, new Qi35 versus current Qi10 product. And I'm happy with those results. Your thoughts?
Phenomenal club. Every model that came out this year, looking forward to having them all in the fitting bay. It's got a wide range of tools for us to use to help further dial people in.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to this launch. And if you would like more information on new Qi35 family, make sure to check out the link below where we had an opportunity to visit TaylorMade HQ in Carlsbad, California, and really take a deep dive under the hood on all the new tech that's going into this family. And as always, make sure to give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and when you are ready to try new Qi35, make sure to book your next fitting at your local TrueSpec, and we'll see you next time.